Hey guys, Thomas here from Chasing Roosevelt Outdoors. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about using a mouth call for calling elk with a birth defect in your mouth. So I know there's tons and tons of videos out there about elk calling and calling with mouth reeds and whatnot. And I just recently signed up for the Elk Collective with Dirk Durham, Jason Phelps, and Daniel Straighton, I think. Along with many others, and they have a full section on just elk calling. And this is not what this video is about. I'm not going to try to tell you guys how to call elk because I'm not a professional. I'm not that great at it. But I want to tell you guys that if you are struggling with calling, or you can't find the call that fits your mouth, or you're worried that you're not going to be able to do it, I'm here to tell you that I was born with a cleft palate and a cleft lip, and I can call with a mouth reed. Now, I'll put in the video a picture of me as a baby and what a cleft palate looks like. So basically, I was born without the roof of my mouth, without my front lip. And you can't tell right now because I have a mustache, but I had all this reconstructed, along with my lower lip was also reconstructed a little bit. So if you're wondering why in my videos I talk funny, that's why. I was born with a birth defect. Now, getting into calling elk. So, a long time ago, I started out with external mouth calls, like Limberries and Carltons. Um, Now, obviously times changed and we've had a major advancement in elk calling. And as I started watching Primos, they had the Terminator. I used that a lot when I first started getting into like elk hunting. Um, and I actually called in an elk that way before with a small, I forgot what the name of it, the smaller one, not the Terminator, a smaller one. And it works, but I couldn't quite get everything I wanted out of it. I couldn't really get a deep, growly bugle, and I couldn't get the cow calls. So I went to the mouth reeds. Now, like I said, I was born with a cleft palate, so normal mouth reeds they work. Let me back this up. I can use just about any mouth reed, and the point of this video is more of a motivation than instruction. Um, so what it started out with is I think I got a Carlson. It was a long time ago. It was either a Carlson or a Primos mouth reed. I want to say it was Primos because I don't think Carlton made them, at least back then. And it didn't have a dome. And basically what I did is I started just like everybody else, put it in, tried to start making noises out of it. And I struggled. I struggled hard because, for one, it didn't have the dome to help assist with sealing that plate off. And two, I had the deform in my mouth, so I don't have a normal roof of my mouth like everybody else. They have a dome shape in their mouth. Mine's more flat, and I actually, because I had to reconstruct it, it's like a bridge in the middle. I guess you want to call it, or a valley, but upward, and it had to be constructed that way. So there's a little. It's hard to explain. I'd have to show you, but it's not easy for me to use a mouth call. So the way I do it, and this is where it'll get into more of the inspiration. So I had to learn how to call just like everybody else, like I was saying. So I started with the ones without the domes. Wasn't working, but I kept trying, kept trying. Eventually, I got to the point where I could make a cow call. Not a very good one. It was real high pitch, not realistic. But I got it to do it. And over the first year or two of learning how to use that, I tried that during hunting season with no luck. So it was very discouraging. And as much as I loved elk hunting and I wanted to call in elk just like everybody else, it was really hard for me. And so I almost gave up and I started just using those external reeds, which I could do. It was also difficult for me, but you know, it's a lot easier than at the time than these. So basically, then came out the Primos with domes, and I think I then discovered the Rocky Mountain elk calls, and I think Point Blank. I don't know who makes those, you know, like a subsidiary or whatever. Um, and I've tried them all, and I also tried Phelps calls, which we'll get into that in a minute. Eventually I found the dome. So the dome helped me a lot. And what happens is, because I barely have any teeth, I have like 3 teeth in the front here, and only one centered to where it's usable. So, most people can, you know, use that as a stopping point for the reed. I can't. I literally place my tooth right on the tip right there. And that holds it from going forward when I'm calling. And then what I do is I do 2 different ways. Um, you can make calls both ways. I've heard it's better to have your tongue pinned against the back of your teeth and push up with the middle of your tongue, like this. And then I also do it sometimes where I use the tip of my tongue. It just depends on what sounds I'm going for. Um, Usually calf calls and the high pitch cow calls I've been using the tip of my tongue. Everything else I use in the middle of my tongue. And so basically all I do is I have to put it in. See if I can get a view in there. Sorry if that's a little squeamish for you guys. Just trying to be real here. So that's how I have to use it. And